The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
There is no way out of here. It will be dark soon. There is no way out of here.
It'll be dark soon.
That was crazy.
What is going on? We got the legends back in the house on the Movie Dojo. What is going on? The Gear Brothers, Darren and Jeff, welcome back.
Woo!
Hello.
Yeah.
Happy to be back. I need the glasses to do this.
Oh, we got some doozies to talk about today, man. Oh my goodness.
You know what? We should have planned on all wearing zippers, though. You know,
yeah,
create that magical scene with the zipper.
Knowing me. Go ahead, Darren.
Oh, we abstained too. I want to tell you, we have not spoken a word to each other since watching Manos, and we were dying to. We almost broke today. We said no. We'll keep it fresh. So we have not compared the two. We haven't talked about Manos. Nothing.
All right. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to talk about it with you guys tonight. We have some doozies. Before we get into it, we got the roll call in the house. Jake Hall, how you doing? Kevin Lambert, what is going on? Heather in the house. The sexy sumo, he says, Torgo rules. That's right. We're going to get into that for sure. There we go. We got Pat in the house. Samuel Stokes, oh yeah, they're all slowly trickling in, all these badasses. Todd Johnson, what is going on? That's right. He goes, what's up? Master Fat Samurai, it's showtime with the legends. That's right. Got the Gear Brothers in the house, son. The writers, filmmakers from the Retaliators, baby. That's right. Coming soon. We got Gold Movie in the house. Dingo. Oh, oh Lord, this will be good. Oh man, wow. Well, I know everybody's probably wondering, well, is Samurai Guy, is this a versus episode? It's not technically an official versus episode, but it's in the same kind of bootleg spirit of versus. And we came up with this idea because after the stream we had when we were talking about the Retaliator's son, after we got off the air, we were just chilling and having fun talking about movies we love and movies we hate and some of the worst films we've seen of all time. And Darren and Jeff brought up Howling 7, and I thought I seen it. And then they started breaking it down for me a little bit, and I was like, oh my God, I don't think I've seen that. And so I was like, oh, I got to watch it now. And then I was like, wait, well, hold on. I mean, you guys said that's the worst movie you've ever seen. Well, I have something as well that might wet your whistle. Manos, the Hands of Fate, which is, if you translate it, it's the Hands of Fate, which don't even make sense. But I was like, all right, here you guys got to watch Manos. So then we just, out of nowhere, kind of a last minute fun decision, we decided to come together and talk about both of these films, which is what the channel was for. You know what I'm saying? We love talking movies here. Before we get into it, Kevin says here he cannot wait for the Retaliators, baby. Oh right. Yeah.
Kevin, you're my favorite.
We got Pat here saying, I'll go on record as saying Howling New Moon Rising is absolutely the worst. I hate them both, though. Okay, cool. All right.
I love I hate them both. See, I would never ever use the word hate with any film of this nature ever.
All right.
Heather, I hate either.
Also is counting the days for the Retaliators coming out.
Oh,
so can't wait.
Heather, you're my new favorite.
Sorry, Kevin.
Our new favorite.
Our new favorite. Yeah.
We love you, Kevin.
I'll take Kevin. You take Heather.
Right? Okay. All right.
That's what brothers are for.
Oh man. So I'll talk. Let's go ahead and jump into. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go back to 1966, man. Ooh. Let's go all the way back, and I'll talk about briefly quickly my experience with Manos, and then we'll go to the boys here and find out, since this is the first time they've ever seen the movie. So I never heard of it. My one of my best friends and my wife, Lady Fat Blood, is a huge fan of Mystery Science Theater.
Mm.
Have you guys watched that show? Are you aware of that show?
I'm aware of it, but I've never really.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest shows. It's just right up there, Joe Bob Briggs. It's like one of the greatest shows ever made. Some people would argue it's the greatest show ever made. But the concept of the show is, it doesn't matter. You're not supposed to think hard, but the concept of the show is you have an evil scientist torturing this worker up in space on a spaceship by sending him bad movies. And so while Joel is up there, he's alone. So he's like, I'm going to create these robots to keep me company. So it's them in the theater. The robots are riffing and making fun of the movie as well as he is. And that's the experiment. So that's what the show is. But it's right up you guys' alley, dude, because they riff all kinds of bad B movies. That's like the point of the show. So of all genres. So this movie obviously bombed in theater when it came out. It was directed and created by Harold P. Warren, who was a fertilizer plant. That was his trade. That's right. That was his trade. He was just like, you know what? Fuck the fertilizer bullshit. All right. I'm going to live my dreams. I'm going to make a fucking movie. All right. So he made the movie. This was supposed to be a serious film. This was not supposed to be a comedy. And obviously the movie bombed and it was forgotten for many years until 1993 when Mystery Science Theater found the tape. And it's one of the most iconic episodes because their jokes are still etched in my head. And even if I watch the movie now without the riffs, I hear the riffs because it's just so funny.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm sure you guys can find that on YouTube as well. But yeah, it's legendary now. So I have a lot of love for it, but it is pain. It's pain. But I have some love for it because I love the episode. But now, those who have not seen the episode, let's hear your take on what you guys thought of Manos. Hold on. Plot synopsis really quick. A family gets lost on the road and stumbles upon a hidden underground devil-worshipping cult led by the fearsome master and his servant, Torgo, who is the MVP, the motherfucking MVP of the movie. That's right. Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely. All right. Who wants to go first, Jeff or Darren?
Darren, you want to
tell me? You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Darren.
I actually, it's funny you called Torgo the MVP because I actually was thinking about it all day today, and I was like, if you take Torgo out, there's no movie. It's like Torgo is everything. I mean, just I think there's no performance I've ever seen like that. Like, I mean, literally just shaking the whole time. Nothing makes sense. I mean, it was just so great. So this was my overall take on Manos. It's a really interesting combo, and this is how I would kind of word it. I would say it's incredibly inept, obviously, in the filmmaking, the technical side, but there is a story. There's like a beginning, middle, and end. There's a lot. All of the detours don't make any sense. The couple in the car, the police. It's like well, really, nothing makes sense, really. But there at least it's sort of a beginning, middle, and end. So it's like a weird combination, because it's like it's completely just fails in every department. Sound, the camera can't stay still. The zooms are random. The acting is horrible. The voice dubbing is the worst ever. But at least I would say, trying to just give it any credit I can would be, there was a through line and there was a story, whereas compared to another film we're going to talk about, there is no plot in Howling. There is no plot. I dare you to tell me what the plot was in Howling
I'm
7.
going to be asking you guys because I need help with this. I need help with 7, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, it's all at the end of the day, it's all about Torgo. I mean, that performance is so weird and so funny, and just from his legs, his I mean, the scene where he's
this is the groping.
The outfit and then the knees, his knees. But yeah, when he touches the girl, it's like
it's so long to do it. Like he just stands there going, "Get away!" And he's like,
well, that's the other. That was
assaulting her or going to.
But everybody watching right now, this wouldn't turn you on. I mean, come on. I mean,
one of the
mechanic onesie.
One of the observations I had too was that it's amazing how long everything takes. Like, there's no sense of editing in it at all, and moments just go painfully too long. And so, it's so funny because, like, the scene where he's trying to touch her, it takes so long for her to react that it literally looks like he's successfully seducing her for most of that scene. And you're just like, what? Like, she's just standing there just staring at him as he's getting closer. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin or end. It's
wow,
I can't believe we've never seen it. And like, to watch it fresh, it's a lot to take in on one view,
Yeah, and a lot, Manos is all. I mean, you have Troll 2. Troll 2 is a lot of fun, and
that's a lot of fun. Yeah,
and but Manos is always my test for people, And I know you guys got it, and it's right in your realm. That's why I had to recommend it to you. But for other people that they don't know what really a truly bad movie is, they're casuals. They don't really know. So when you hear people go, "Man, Waterworld was the worst film I ever seen in my entire life," I'm like, "Oh, watch Manos. Sit down and watch Watch this."
Yeah,
and job I used to work many years ago, I would have Manos on VHS. That's how long ago it was, and I would bring it to work, and it was my a bet. I would bet everyone, watch this. If you could finish it from beginning to the end, I'll buy you lunch, right? And I would test them too. I would be like, "So what? So what did you see if they watch it?" And I always tell them, "You cannot cheat."
At the end, right?
Great twist, by the way. I actually love the ending. I was like, "Okay, I see you. I see you."
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by there was a beginning, middle, and end. And not that it was well done, but it was there. It was there. Yeah, that is the test if someone actually got through it. Do they know the twist?
And I would tell them, you can't cheat. You cannot drink. You cannot drink or smoke. You can't cheat while watching it. You got to watch it dry.
Go
you got to take it dry.
You're right.
But
it feels like you're high when you're watching it.
Yeah, dude, you're right, Darren. Like you feel like you're on drugs watching this, and and it's so odd in terms of pacing and editing and everything that you're like glued. You're like fascinated. Like, what am I looking at right now? Is this a snuff film? What is about to happen? Like, you're just totally like you're all, in some parts. You're like, am I in hell? Like you feel like it's like a dream.
What's funny?
The cat fighting wives. Like I was going like, wait, how did I get here? Like what? Why am I watching? Like, are they ethereal or human? Like, I don't know. Like, they almost look like goddesses or something. You know what I mean? But
they're the masters. They're the masters' wives.
They're the wives.
We got to talk about the ADR a little bit here, just because obviously it was very off. Now I heard somebody say, I saw some quote somewhere that said none of it matches. No, that's wrong. Some of it does match. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem though is that a lot of it doesn't. I'll answer that.
But Sexy Sue nailed it. Yeah.
I got a theory. Okay. I think that the film was basically improv on the spot, no script. And then they went back and then scripted dialogue to make a story out of it that was actually, maybe coherent. And then they went back and tried to ADR it or something like that. But because that's what it seems like. It's like the ADR pops in at such weird times where they're like, because you'll see the mouths move and then they'll stop moving and then dialogue will start to happen. And you're like, wait, what? Why is that happening?
Yeah. Well, somebody mentioned it in the comments already. I was trying to save it towards the end of the episode, but there's a reason why Mr. Torgo is the actor acts the way he does.
Oh, no.
He was on LSD while filming the movie.
Oh, no shit.
So there you go. There you go.
But that's like that famous Pirates pitcher who pitched on LSD, a no-hitter on LSD. It's one of those kind of situations.
But it's all about, it's not just Torgo is the MVP, but it's all about the haunting Torgo theme.
I'll get the luggage.
John Carpenter's Halloween's got nothing on that, bro.
That's a good score. That's a solid score right there. Well, I have to say, okay, let me show a little bit of my cards here, okay, on what I think of this movie overall.
Okay.
This will play a role in whether it is a worse movie than Howling 7 for me. I think it actually succeeds as a horror film in some measure. I think that it does have some like genuinely effective horror elements, like that painting. Yeah, like that guy's they meant that to be creepy, and that was creepy. They meant for the film to be unnerving. It was unnerving. It did kind of disturb. Like it made me feel like my skin was crawling at parts. So
where I'll back you up there too, Jeff, is what's genuinely creepy. The painting is creepy.
Oh, very creepy.
You know what else too is how nasty and dirty the couch is when the girl's on it, and when you can see how gross it is. You're like, you start realizing that the room they're in is really, really just kind of grimy and nasty. It is pretty creepy.
Great set pieces, and I also love the where the flame was coming out that Torgo's hand burn on. Like that was creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Torgo running away with his hand on fire was hilarious. That was creepy.
Yeah, so I do have to say, like, as I think it intended to be a horror film, and it actually succeeded in some respects in being genuinely creepy. So that's kind of my positive review of it.
I've always thought I agree with you guys. I've always thought the concept was there for it to be a really good horror film.
Yeah,
it's just the execution,
especially for '66, right?
Yeah, Satanic Cult, and it's just the production value is so
Now I'm sure if you guys were given the task, hey, we need you to remake Manos, I'm sure you guys can write out a better script.
Oh, give it to us. Give it
on, bro.
Make it happen.
I would support that big time.
Let's start a GoFundMe or something.
But there's just so much of padding. There's a lot of padding with them driving around, especially towards the end. We had the two ladies that came out of nowhere, and they were just talking, just driving around. So there's a lot of that.
Just making out couple sees them. They're like, oh, what? Okay, first of all, can we just talk a little bit about the making out couple? Because this really threw me off. Not just that they were making out, but that they would take breaks to just swig like hard liquor and like be like, oh, okay, back to making out.
Yep. Back at it.
That was so bizarre.
Ain't nothing up that road.
And can we also? And I also want to call out Wes Anderson for ripping off Targo's conflict with Manos in this film, or not Manos, but the Master. They obviously this is Rushmore ripped this off. Targo kind of worships the Master, but they fall in love with the same woman, and that kind of ruins their relationship.
Oh, yo, shots fired. What's up, Wes?
I see you, Wes. Okay,
stealing from the greats.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see it's so funny how ever since the Mystery Science Theater episode, the fandom has grown to the point where this is how the movie normally looks. And then out of nowhere, Blu-ray remaster. It's insane. Out of all the films that got a Blu-ray remaster, Manos got where's the Blu-ray remaster of Howling 7? Does that
We haven't
exist?
gotten it yet. We haven't gotten it yet.
No,
But
we
I
don't
think
have
the original Howling 7 still looks pretty good, compared to the original Manos. So
Right.
That's all we're gonna get.
I don't know. It
No
looks
Criterion, no Arrow video release.
If you watch the one on Prime, which I did in preparation for this, again, it looks fine. I think the Joe Bob one from in the past, that's really grainy.
Because that's off the TV. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's off the TV. Oh, but I did, and I also wanted to mention the character name is Michael, but it's Hal, right? Hal, the filmmaker, he plays the main guy,
the father.
Dude, he's got 2 spills in there. I don't know if you caught this, where he falls, like it doesn't look like much happens to him, but he takes like really hard spills. I was like, damn, like tumbling 3-4 times, like really eat shit, man. I was like, wow,
Stunts.
He did his own
stunts in here, bro.
Yeah,
Come on.
so I got to give it up for that, and all the hand symbolism. If you notice in the whole movie, there's the hand in the fire, like I said, the staff hand. When Targo's like on the altar, and all the wives come by, and like there's a shot, like a POV shot of Targo, and all these hands are coming at him. Now I have no fucking clue what any of this hand symbolism is supposed to mean. It's
the god Manos. It's the
there.
god Manos. It's funny because right around this time, Mystery Science Theater guys were like, they yelled out, "Do something!" You guys have to watch that episode. It's so funny.
Great.
I don't know how I've never seen Mystery Science. I've heard of it a million times. I've just never actually watched it. I'll that'll be the first one I'll check out for sure.
So have you seen anything called Riff Tracks?
Yes.
So Riff Tracks is just like Mystery Science Theater, except there's no robots or skits or anything. They just go right to the movie. That's half of the Mystery Science Theater team branched off, and they did their own thing with Riff Tracks.
Okay.
But the other half of Mystery Science Theater with Joel, the creator, it's actually back now. There's Kickstarter. They actually brought it back. Brand new episodes and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can find some of them on Netflix, and but they brought it back. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. And that robe is really legit too. With the hands. I mean, that's
great.
I mean, that's a legit robe. Look at that.
And he's a local theater actor, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
They actually had like legit, obviously not Hollywood working actors, but they got actual actors for this film. For some of them, the main cast at least, it seems.
Yeah. And him and his wife kind of helped design a lot of the clothing and the props and sets and stuff. His daughter, the little girl in the movie. What's up?
I said Torgo is fucking wasted in that shot. He's not.
Having a hard time with that shot.
He is nodding off mid-scene right there, completely nodding off.
Good catch.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, I love the costume design. Actually,
Yeah.
Between Targo and the Master, and even down to the wives and stuff. And I love the set. I actually loved some of the set pieces.
Hey, here you go. When you guys
Elijah
remake
Wood
the
as
movie.
Torgo. Yeah, that's a good Torgo.
Yeah,
That's a legit Torgo. Elijah Wood.
But why not Steve Buscemi? Is he too old for Torgo now? Or
that'll work.
No,
too.
I like Elijah Wood for some reason. I can see him. I don't know.
They got to keep the theme song though.
Yeah,
you got to keep that theme song in there. But yeah, I mean, concept. You have the father and the family, going on vacation to Valley Lodge, and Valley Lodge disappears, and they end up someplace else. And Torgo greets them, and he keeps saying the same thing over and over again, like, "I take care of the place while the master is away. You cannot stay here. It's like he keeps telling them they can't stay, but he's helping them with their luggage and shit and moving in. I'm like, what are you doing, Torgo?
Well,
and of
yeah,
course,
yeah, there's definitely problems with like the motivation. I mean, I'm sure everybody points this out. It's like, why would the husband allow his family to be in there? I mean, it's so obviously creepy and
Yeah.
off-putting.
Well, the best part is, yeah, he's sitting there going, "We have nowhere to go," and they've got wide open highways and roads. It's broad daylight. I mean, it was the car. Yeah, it's just ridiculous that they even stopped there.
Right.
One line I really loved was this out when they were in the desert running away, and the dad, the wife, and the kid, and he goes, they get the idea like, let's just go back to the house. It's the last, like that's the last place they look. And the dad goes, we can lock ourselves in the kitchen. I have a gun. It's like, what the fuck? They're gonna go back now? It's like, oh my God.
That's the only set we got. That's it. We got to go back to the set. But yeah, you know, our master awakes. The wives of the master start bickering and fighting because, you know, he wants to take, the master likes, you know, our boy's wife. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, all right, I need a new wife. And of course, you got Torgo going, you know, why you have so many wives? Why can I have one of them? You know, and then they go at it, and he burns Torgo's hand. Torgo leaves, and we don't see him anymore. And of course, you know, he comes in, and the wives are bickering because some of them, there's a good wife in there, and she's like, no, we can't take the little girl and her mom. You know, that's what they bicker over. But the master has his way, and Torgo gets replaced by the father, and he says the line. We have the two ladies that show up looking for a hotel, and he goes, I take care of the place while the master is away. And then we have our new victims again. You know, the whole idea, like you guys were saying, I think with better everything, editing, acting, you know, everything, script.
If everything was
better,
could
work. The concept could work.
It's true.
There's a good story there. I think there's a good story there.
Well, it is a good story with he's collecting wives and you know, a couple shows up. He wants that. I mean, yeah. And then, it is. I mean, there definitely is the thread. You can see a film through all the garbage. It's there, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. It might meander, and then you're like, "Wait, how did I get here?" But by the end of it, you go, "Okay, I know what happened."
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. So, was there any part of the film where you were like, "Jesus, where were you in the movie? Where you're like, how much longer is this?"
For me, it was the wives. It was the wives' cat fights. I was like, I don't know if I can get through this. This is really, really bad.
Yeah, for
like
me, it was
like, okay. I'm okay. I can see this to the end. You know,
right?
Okay, I was a little past that when I was going. I was getting ready to tap. I was like, oh man, this is this is hard. And then, like you said, there is a weird. There's so many things that are not right that it's disorienting, and the disorientation sort of keeps you locked in because it's like nothing is normal. So nothing. I mean, there's no the focus, the sound, the plot. You know, it's all well. That's what's weird. The only thing intact is there was a plot there. You know, I guess it's the only thing. And that's what makes it so unique. Is usually in a bad movie, bad at this level. Because I agree with you. A lot of people will say, "Oh, Showgirls, worst movie ever made." It's like, no.
You don't know,
like, bad. Not even close.
Not when you're talking this level of bad. But it is interesting that truly the only thing that works is a semblance of a plot, right?
Well, yeah, I was kind of fist pumping a little bit at the end. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, that was clever.
Yeah, I was like, all right, yeah.
Did you make it through the end credits?
No, I made it through about halfway. The music had gotten so grating at that point. I couldn't do it anymore.
I know. The music's pretty bad. But at the very end credits, the very last couple of words is the end.
The question mark.
mark.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. And there was a sequel. There was a sequel that was a prequel, right? With Torgo as the lead, right? I don't know if they used the same actor. I didn't look that.
Well, it's the we have the actor right here, Tom Naiman, who played the Master. This is him around doing interviews around 2016, I believe. I'm not positive. I think that's when he passed away. But yeah, it was an interesting interview. But he was talking about how the fandom just kind of came out of nowhere after Mystery Science Theater. And what's really funny is the Master, the actor, would wear the Master robe every Halloween when he would go out there to hand out candy to all the kids, which is great because he still has the robe.
Yeah, what a legend.
I know. But we did have this. So this star Manos returns. Tom was in that for a little bit. That's his daughter who is in the film, and that's the little girl of the original Manos was his daughter. That's her grown up there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Jackie Naaman Jones. Yes. Now I am afraid to watch this. Only because I might, out of curiosity, I might watch it, but I'm afraid to watch this because I smell Samurai Cop 2. And when the creators try their hardest to make a movie and fail, that's when it's the best bad movie, right? And we can appreciate what they tried to do. Yeah. But when they do a sequel where they're all in on it now,
it's nowhere
in
near
on the joke. Yeah, so Samurai Cop, if you haven't seen it, it's brilliant. It's fucking great. It's a rip-off of Lethal Weapon. Yeah. It's hilarious.
Right.
It's iconic, right? But many years later, they sequeled it with the same actors, and it's atrocious. So
atrocious, right? Like it's not even fun to watch.
They're in on the joke. It's not funny.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So this, I have a feeling, might be that. I don't know. This might actually be legit. Maybe out of curiosity, I'll check it out. But this, I knew about this. What I didn't know about was this. She's trying to do like a series called The Manos Chronicles.
It's all
Torgo's hand, dude. His staff.
Dude,
that's like Torgo's bow staff, bro.
I know, right?
Oh, I'm dying, dude. That's the greatest.
See, this is the problem, though. It says ghosts, monsters, cults. She's got this. Probably. It sounds like they're in on it.
Yeah.
But I read the plot synopsis, and basically, she, at the end of Manos, she gets, captured or whatever, as she gets tied up like next to all the other wives.
One of the wives, yeah.
So she's technically playing the same character that has busted out of the God of Manos's hold and the cult, and now she's formed this team of kind of like hunters that go and hunt paranormal things, and they fight evil. Is the concept with this? I don't know if it's any good. I haven't seen anything on it, but I didn't know that existed until I was doing some research. I was like, oh my God. So that's interesting.
Well,
let
me try to maybe give an argument for why it might be worth seeing and checking out, despite them being in on the joke. I think one of my favorite so bad they're good kind of films is Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. And there's no way they're not in on that joke.
No, right? That was meant to be funny and goofy.
Yeah. But I think it actually succeeds. You know what I mean?
True.
Because it's so off the wall, it's still. So
I have one. Velocipaster. Have you guys seen Velocipaster?
No.
Is it good?
I've seen the poster. No, I haven't seen it.
God. It's a movie that was meant to be bad and funny on purpose. And me and my friends and Lady Fat Blood, we were watching it. We were rolling, man. Oh my God, Velocipaster. We were like gut holding laughter, butt holding laughter too. That's
right. Our shit, man.
And I think, and Samurai, I think we told you last time when we were off air. And this would be another one that's leaned in, and it's hilarious, and that is Santa Jaws.
Santa Jaws.
I know you told me about
Santa Jaws. Yeah, and I mean it's pretty great. I mean, as the Finn's got the Santa hat hanging off of it as it goes by. I mean, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. But that's a different. That's a different category, though, from a Manos, from a Howling 7, where when there's earnest and it's that bad, that's its own special bad. So you can't recreate that. You can't replicate that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you guys have nailed it. And the thing is like we have the Manos genre bad, where it's like Miami Connection, where like you guys still have to watch Miami Connection.
Yeah.
Where he tried so hard to make an action movie and it didn't work out. I love that film.
Right.
It didn't work out, but we love it.
Yeah.
But then you have the Jack Frost 2 and the Velocipastors and stuff like that, which are made to be bad and funny on purpose.
Right.
But sometimes you get a lot of those made to be bad, funny on purpose, and it's fucking horrible.
Oh,
yes.
Sometimes that doesn't work all the time. There's there's more bad comedy than good comedy out there.
Oh God, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to make something that's entertaining when you're trying to be intentionally entertaining. That's the hard part. It's just
but what's funny is when I think about the bad movies I watch often, it isn't the Manos. There's only so many of those like truly legendary ones, and so I really do love looking for 90s films, 80s films, 70s, where the intention is obviously one thing and it just doesn't hit it at all. Even modern, sometimes modern, but not, you don't find too many, but even sometimes, I don't know, it is funny how there's like 7 rings of hell with bad movies. There really are all those multiple, you can't just say bad because there's just so many levels of bad. And I guess there ultimately is a true bad. It's like its purest form of bad, where there is nothing watchable, entertaining, enjoyable about it bad.
Yep. Yes.
And that's its own. And that would be a good debate as like, what is that bad? Because these two, we haven't got to Howling 7 yet, but in my opinion are that maybe it's the nearest to that, but where I have watched Howling 7 with a group of people, and it's very fun with a group of people because you just have everyone going, what the fuck? And I mean, we literally, and then Manos, I could see the same thing. If you put 8 friends in a room and put on Manos, you're going to just be laughing the whole time,
Oh, unfortunately, Samurai Guy did not have a fun group of people to watch Howling 7 with. I had to watch that by myself.
Oh, that's hard.
Let's go ahead and segue right into that.
Yeah, I did. I did. Man,
but yeah, like kind of like going off what you said, Darren, before we go to Howling. Kind of like what director Len Kapuzinski said here on the channel last week. He said, "There's nothing worse than boring bad."
Yeah.
Yes.
Boring, bland, generic bad is
the
absolute worst.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some movies are so bad, they're good bad. Like you can enjoy them for what they are.
Right.
And they're entertaining. You can find, everything's atrocious, but goddamn it, those fight scenes were amazing. Like you can find some entertainment. But going back to what Darren was saying, is like, yeah, there's movies out there where there's nothing in there to be entertained with.
I think if you tap the Steven Seagal of like his more recent films, like in the last 20 years, I think you could find some contenders there. There's some, like,
No, I love those.
There's worse than that.
Dude, him holding his gun all fucking like, on his chest and shit.
Have you seen?
Dude, I love those.
Well, it's the one where he's not in it, and they're just like, it's like an hour without him in it,
Or he's just sitting down, like
he's
all. It's when it's mostly when he's off.
Yeah.
Did you see his movie called Kill Switch?
No.
Oh my God! It has some of the worst editing for fight sequences in the history. It's some of the worst. All he did was grab the dude, throw him out of the window.
Is that one? Okay, I saw that one.
And it's like
I did see
12
that one.
takes.
12 takes,
Yes.
right? Like what?
So bad.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, we did. We watched that one, Jeff.
Yeah, we did.
Oh man.
Well, what's
So-
interesting
That's entertaining still.
going
That's
into it is interesting that we're doing now. I mean, I know we're segueing now into Howling. What is interesting about these two, because these were picked both very randomly, very organically, but it is interesting now knowing the history of Manos, that it was basically a dead film resurrected by Mystery Science Theater. Howling 7 was a dead film rescued by Joe Bob Briggs. And so it is interesting that that's how both films had any semblance of a life, was through hosts bringing it onto a show. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, great point for sure.
both desert films too. You know, Manos was in El Paso, Texas, and Howling 7 was in Pioneer Town near Joshua Tree, I guess.
Yep.
Was there any part, before we move on, was there any part in Manos besides Torgo where you guys were laughing your asses off? You were like, "Oh my god!"
Just a couple in the car drinking. That one, I was.
Couple had me laugh. The cop talking to the couple was great. It was the same scene like 3 times.
He had a great line, right? He was all, he's all, well, whatever it is you're not doing, don't do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
We got
that was pretty on point. Shout out to that fucking pan flute score. That thing was out of control. I mean, and I saw in the credits it was original score, so they hired somebody to go ape shit on that pan flute.
Oh my god! But the Manos fandom has taken off. There's people cosplaying at conventions. There's all kinds of fan films and stuff like that. So before we move on to Howling 7, oh man, woo! Before we move on to that, one more shout out to the MVP.
I'll get the luggage.
So good.
Had to do it one more time, man. One more time. All right. Woo, let's go ahead and get into this fucking shit. Now, apparently, there's a huge, just like Manos, there's a huge fan base for this movie, for Howling. New Moon Rising. There's a lot of people out there that consider this good bad. Now, I have to ask you two. Do you consider this good bad or bad bad?
Good bad.
Good bad.
Without question.
At its good bad at its furthest limits of stretching it to. That's what I meant when I said there's that pure bad.
Yeah.
There were. I mean, when Jeff and you know, one thing I will say is I don't know what it would have been like to watch Howling 7 alone, but watching it with Jeff, we must have rewound moments over and over and over because there was just so many things that were making us laugh. So, I mean, it really was fun to, I could imagine it being pretty hard sitting by yourself and watching it, but I do think it's as at its the furthest stretch of before it's just purely worthless. I would say it's right there. Hence, I think it making it the best worst movie.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But you know, I have to say the entertainment value of it for me, it makes it pretty easy to get through for me. I don't see, like, I can see what you're saying. Like it's so like, yeah, I think the techniques in the film are worse than Manos, but I think it's still so entertaining throughout the entire film. I never feel like it's close to becoming unwatchable ever.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So Howling, New Moon Rising came out in 1995. Plot synopsis: a number of brutal werewolf-like slayings begin, occurring in a small California town after the arrival of an unfamiliar motorcyclist. Directed, written, produced, everything. Clive Turner. That's right.
Legend.
The man.
The
man.
legend.
The fucking man.
All right. So, just to show my experience with this movie, I started taking notes, and then I just stopped.
It's just too much. Right?
I was just like, fuck it. I just put my phone down. I stopped taking notes.
Dude, you scored like a lot of the best clips though. That the Heart of
You
Texas, the Zipper,
Yeah.
like that. I mean,
Well, I had to show that. So, oh my goodness. But
like,
yeah, I'm going to jump all over the place here.
That's all you can do with this film. I mean, that's
like the movie does.
Well,
yeah. What? And especially because we're comparing it to Manos, there is no threat. There is no that. I mean, there is a. It's part of why I put it at such a Mount Olympus of bad films, because it's in earnest. There's no question.
Oh, yeah.
But what is funny, Clive does think he's funny though.
Yes.
And does so there but couldn't be any further from funny. But that's an interesting kind of extra layer in there, is that, you know, but there is no sense to anything. I mean, was there even a werewolf in it, right? I mean, I think there was
at the end.
At the very, very end.
Let's not take pot shots at this movie, okay? Let's be fair here, okay? there was a werewolf throughout the entire film, all right?
Listen, when you have bodies getting pulled off the screen in those kind of shots, I mean, come on, those death scenes are the most low budge kills of all time.
Get this, dude. Now get this. So Clive Turner, his intention from the start was to make a movie that was mostly the past Howling films and to have something that would thread them all together. And he abandoned that idea, but still ended up using a lot of these other Howling films. And what you notice is like that's the only real production value in this film is in the footage from other Howling films he tried to bring in to try to tell the story with the weird.
You know how the movie? You know what the movie plays like? The movie plays like
weird.
The movie plays like a guy, a filmmaker, had a script, showed up,
and then
then just started documenting the town and just started documenting the real people in the town, and then just ripping off of them, and that's all it is. You know, I mean,
he's like, "Hey, I want to make a movie here. You guys down? Yeah. Make a movie here. Oh, cool. I don't have to pay for nothing as long as we be in the movie. No, be in the movie. Fuck it." But go ahead, Jeff.
No, they had a director that was not Clive Turner originally, and him and Clive got into so many arguments. And
Roger Knoll.
Yeah, exactly.
They have him uncredited.
Roger Knoll quit, and then literally he went. Clive went back after they had already kind of like wrapped shooting, pretty much, and filmed 50% of the movie over 3 days after that.
Wow!
There you go.
So I mean, and you can see it. It looks. I mean, come on. But there is a magic to it, you know. Because look, on the one hand, it's marketed it as a horror film. It was like, you know, I think its original conception, it was intended to be a horror film. But in that respect, the movie utterly fails, because I won't even count the prior Howling films being inserted as, you know, part of the film. I mean, that's just cheap. You know what I mean? But I think there's so many jokes in the film. You know, every single fucking line is a joke. You know, intended to be funny, and
intended to be a joke.
Exactly. So you could say like, look, okay, so it fails as a horror film, but it was meant to be a comedy. It fails as a fucking comedy too. You know, it doesn't succeed as any kind of movie. You know what I mean?
Preach it.
And the jokes, I mean, the jokes are, like I said, none of them are. You're always laughing at them, thinking, "Wow, they really think they're funny with this joke." And there is something very humorous about that, you know.
Well, what won me over when I was first watching it was those fucking George Jones references at the beginning. It was like, do you think people talk like this? I mean, how many George Jones references are in that fucking movie?
Well, there's technically 11. I counted 11. There's 4 different.
There's 11.
There's 4 different, basically like scenes or moments where he gets mentioned, but they have to keep saying his fucking name over and over again. It's like, oh, George Jones, George Jones, and like, oh, look at George Jones tape. Yeah, the beginning is so inexplicable. He shows up on the motorcycle, shows up at the bar, he fiddles with the jukebox, goes to the bar, and he goes, "Can I get a drink?" The bartender comes up and he goes, "It's not it's a country jukebox." And you're like, why is he telling him it's a country jukebox? He just asked for a beer. And he goes, "It's not a country jukebox if you don't have George Jones." Who's George Jones? And then they go on to the slide that kills me and Darren every single time. He goes, "From the Beatles to the Rolling Stones." And then the guy next to him, Bob, the guy, he's got a mullet. He goes, "If they could all sing like they wanted to," and then they chime in together, they'd all sing like George Jones.
Like George Jones. Yeah.
Jim, do you know who wrote that song? And then fucking Ed Kemper in the back starts piping in, and he goes, "Who's George Jones?" I'm telling you, it's like
it was like
goes on. You're like, what is going on here?
You're like, what is with these George Jones references?
It's like we were there, and then I'm expecting Clive to turn to us and go, "You had to be there."
Yeah,
it's like that kind of experience. You had to be there. You had to be there to get the joke, you know. Dingo right here says, "I wanted werewolves in my werewolf movie more than a rubber mask at the end for a minute." I got a clip of that. I got a beautiful, glorious clip of that at the end.
Okay, there was some visual effects going on. Remember the stretching of the face?
I'm going to show it. I'm going to show
it. She's all.
Wait, Samurai is showing it right now. Let's see it.
I'll show it. I'll show it in a second. We're gonna wait. Show that towards the end.
Let's wait.
We'll build up to
that.
So,
that's the climax of the movie. It would only be fair for us to respect it.
Yes. So when I started watching this, I was already busting up laughing over the bad acting. You know, when they see the skeleton on the floor and he's like, "Oh my god, my god." You know, I was already busting up. Like I was like, what is this? Like right at the beginning, I was laughing a lot. You know, in terms of B movie bad laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm enjoying this. Like, what's Jeff and Darren talking about? And then when I got towards the middle of the movie and stuff like that, I was just like, so you guys played Mortal Kombat. You played Mortal Kombat before, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So you know how everybody looks before they're about to get killed and finished off. You know when they just kind of stand there like this, waiting to get killed. That was me sitting here watching this. I was starting to rock. I was just like, Jesus. But I'll get to why I was feeling the pain, even though I was laughing at the B movie stuff. I'll get to why I like Darren said he wanted to tap earlier with Manos. I wanted to tap when we'll get to it a little bit later. I'm going to lead up to it, but go ahead, Jeff.
No, I actually thought you were gonna. I thought you with the fatality, little move there. I thought you were gonna take a shot at Pappy, who's like wasted the whole movie.
Oh, poor Pappy. Would some people think Pappy is the Torgo of this film? They think he's the
Pappy is the Torgo.
Yeah, he's the MVP.
The MVP. Yeah, the MVP. You could argue Clive is the MVP.
Yeah, I might say Clive actually, but I'll
Clive
put them.
More the Warren. Clive is more the Harold Warren, and Pappy's more the Torgo
side character. Yeah, for sure.
I mean that musical number, stand up, testify,
stand up, tell me all about it.
Stand up, everybody's there. Stand up.
Everybody.
That's the best. It's the best. Literally. Yeah. Well, can we? When are we going to talk about the line dancing? That's what I want to.
We can skip towards that right now. So yes, the line dancing from hell. Everyone's fucking depressed out of their goddamn mind. Now, do you think? I want an honest opinion. Do you think with these kind of in the dark silhouette shadow shots? Do you think Clive was honestly like thinking this was cool? Like this looks cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't think that he was trying to make it look scary by any means. I think he was probably thinking this is a really stylized, cool shot. I mean, it makes no sense, those shots.
That foot, it's all about that foot.
Yeah, the foot.
The rest of the bar, especially when the rest of the bar is lit up with lighting.
That makes no sense.
Well, here's what it is. It's so obviously another location that was filmed very far away from the bar, nowhere near the time they shot the bar stuff, and they were just trying to make it look like it was connected. And I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, I don't know.
It was all about that first victim. So the first victim of the film, he shows up in that room where they're doing that line dancing and just kind of like kicks over and starts looking at him and then bounces right after. You know, it's like, why was he watching the line dance? You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're introduced to Clive. He keeps communicating with someone.
Look at that beautiful
He's like, I got them all fooled. I'm in the town. I got them all fooled and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like at this point, I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes. We're introduced to the side plot here where they're trying to figure out, who the corpse is, and then all of a sudden the police authoritative figure and the preacher, man, every time they're talking together, it's like the cops like, can we take a break? I need to process all this. I'm like, dude, we just got back to you guys. We've only been with you guys for like 30 seconds. And now you already need a break.
You know what? Just take a break, and then we'll come back. It's the best. There's no sense to it at all.
Yeah.
The preacher is the actual legit actor out of everyone, right? The werewolf.
He had some background, but it was pretty
werewolf.
Yeah.
He had a great.
All this stuff, all these shots, when they were talking about way back in the day in the castle, people came there and the castle was cursed. The werewolf was there and in disguise and just waited till to kill everyone. Blah 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 blah. All this was from another film, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why it looked good.
Films. Yeah.
Anything that looked like it had production value was from
an old film.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and we'll get to those other. I have some other shots later, but yeah, the pain started to slow. I was fine with everything else in terms of B movie. I was laughing and cracking up. The pain for Samurai Guy and Jeff, we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier before we live streamed. I did not know, I was not prepared or ready for all the goddamn songs in the fucking movie, man. I was like, oh no, we're not getting another song. Jesus Christ, please. We're not.
Yeah. You're either with it or you're not. Yeah. I feel like the music, the music is what keeps me in it a lot of the time. Like if I could just focus on how cheesy that.
Yeah. If I watch it now, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
For the songs.
Yeah.
So I'll be okay. I'll be okay now. But at first I was like, oh God, no, we're getting another song.
And here's the thing too with the song. Here's the thing. It's all about stand up. The Pappy song, and the beauty of stand-up, you've got to watch it a couple times because Pappy is so wasted. He can't get the word. He's slurring his words. So he's like, and he's really wasted. And so when you watch it, it's just hilarious because you can't understand what he's saying. Yeah. He's completely sloshed out of his mind. It's the best.
Yeah.
But I'll also say though that they got so Harriet had a band evidently, and they do songs all throughout the film. So when you're hearing something that seems a little like underproduced, you know what I mean? It's like that's probably Harriet's band, And I love those songs because they're just like, there's a kind of so bad they're good quality about those ones too. Like how she hits her notes and like, it's not like it's awful, but it's just like kind of bad enough that it just really.
Well, they look like they're having a good time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to go back to what you guys were mentioning about the comedy, Clive thinks he's funny. For those of you who have not seen this movie, here's a little brief snippet. Here's a little example of the comedy of Clive.
Dude!
Oh, we lost Darren. What happened to Darren?
I'm still here. I was looking for my sombrero.
No, dude, that scene, it makes no sense.
So
And
there
they
you
start
go, guys.
dancing with the
If you find that funny, you're in for a treat. Did you find it, Darren?
No, couldn't find it.
Boo. All right, that's all good. That's all good. Oh my God! And here's an example of talking about how bad the acting is, because these people aren't real actors. They're natives from the town. They're not real actors. Yeah. But there's actually worse acting than this clip. But this is all I could snag just for tonight. But here's an example of how bad the acting is in this movie.
Bad.
Well, you're a policeman. I've got a son that's in Barstow, and he's got a wife, and her friend's a policeman.
Oh, it's all about Sybil, dude. It's all about Sybil.
Give her the Oscar, bro.
Dementia riddled, housekeeper.
And
you know what the movie plays like? It plays like 5 short films were shot separately, and some mad genius sat in a room and said, I'm going to turn all of these 5 short films into one film. Stand up. Thank you, Pat. Stand up.
We're testifying, man.
Testify. And so I just think, it just looks like someone sat in and said, okay, I got this. I'll get this all cleaned up. And then just massacred it. And it just, I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. No scenes connect really. One to the next, to the next, to the next. You just, even when they go back, so when they go back to the priest and it's like, what did that nothing connects.
It all feels like they've been together for the past couple of days talking about the same conversation.
Yeah.
There are werewolves out there.
Werewolves.
But here's another song sequence where I was just like, oh my God, dude, this is like 6 minutes long. But this is a favorite for fans of the film. But here's a little clip.
I think I'll sit here with my prescription beer and never do drugs again.
Oh, great song.
Come on, Samurai, if that doesn't make you pick up a beer, I don't know what does, man.
It makes me want to start a fire is what
the anti-drug beer song. There you go.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? Oh my God. Oh man, but I'm having fun talking about the movie. So let's go back up here before we show the money shot really quick. But yeah, I'm just gonna bounce around here. Man.
The jokes are bizarre. I mean, if you really think about it's a pretty
yeah. So a lot of, and of course, this is the stuff that I hate. Off-screen deaths. Mm-hmm. I was just like, oh no.
Worst kills ever.
Worst kills of all time.
There is the most
laziest.
I mean, you can do kills on a low budget. I mean, no question. You can do phenomenal kills on a low budget. These are the lamest, laziest, no budget kills ever. I mean, people getting pulled off screen. No blood. I mean, it's just terrible, terrible kills.
Yeah, pretty bad, definitely. Let's see. I got some shots here. Hold on.
Stand up, baby.
Stand up. There it is.
Bob
there it is.
Back with the guitar too. You're following the score
Who's
here.
That?
That's Bob with the axe there.
Gotcha.
And the glasses and the mullet.
Nice.
Another MVP.
Well, that's Clive on the floor there.
That's Clive.
And then we have the Karen of the movie. We have the Karen of the movie.
She's the one that goes. She's got a great line because she goes. oh, he really planned that well. It's like, gosh, Bonnie, you're talking about him like he's such a schemer.
I know. She's the Karen.
If the shoe fits, wear it. Like they're delivery of that. It's so weird.
She's
I'm like,
hot blocking, man.
Can we get another take on that one?
So
my
here is it here?
Oh.
We already played that. The right here, I was like, what? So we have this scene where Maria here nonchalantly explains to the priest, just nonchalantly, having a cup of Joe, hanging out, right? And just nonchalantly talking about, me and my husband went out and we came across a den of werewolves and he got turned and everybody got killed. Just talking, just chilling, normal conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then I see what you guys were talking about, that these are the previous. Was this Howling 3? All these shots here.
They're all they are
6 or something, or 4.
Yeah,
5.
they're all shots for anything, as Jeff said it very, very succinctly. Any shot in the film that looks like it has real production value is from a multiple Howling previous sequels. That's that, and there's no sense in any of it. And Clive Turner uses a shot of himself in a previous Howling movie playing a different character. So it's like there's no sense to it.
And
they kind of rewrite the history of it.
Yeah. She's thinking that it's him. That's the whole thing is. And she also brings up that this lore, with the werewolf many years ago in the castle, taken in disguise. Many years later, is now in disguise again, but in the town of Barstow. That's the theory she's going with, and the preacher buys it, and he tells the cop. And but first of all, this scene came out of nowhere. I was like, what? The cop, this is random police officer thinking he's in Reservoir Dogs, about to cut off some ears. Yeah, I'm like, what in the world is going on? He's just totally beating up Clive there, and then Clive takes him out though.
Yeah, Clive takes him out because
But this here, when we get to this scene, I lost my goddamn mind, dude.
He's the best.
I lost my goddamn mind.
Just look at his face.
Oh, I love the inspector so much.
This is where I think the script that he just said, fuck it. We're just gonna make shit up as we go along. Fuck this.
This is part of that 3-day bender. They were
It's like
3-day bender.
I'm glad you guys told me about that, because now it makes total sense.
Yeah.
This is like, you maybe, Pastor, maybe you're the werewolf. How dare you tell me that? I think, what about you? You're the werewolf, but you want to kill Clive. Well, I think Clive's the werewolf, but yet Maria was under mind control of the werewolf. Like, we were all over the place. Oh, Maria gets killed off screen too, which is really bad. But we were just like, dude, in terms of plot and story and this, and then he escapes, and then this other chick picks him up and takes him to her house.
Yeah.
I even forgot who that chick's character's name was. I was like, dude, what
which one?
Are you
thinking of Cheryl, the one who ends up?
I forgot.
She's supposed to be the
samurai. We should have warned you ahead of time. There's nothing to follow. You can't follow something unfollowable.
Yeah,
it's all good. I'm glad you didn't tell me, so I could feel the pain.
I've seen it probably like 8 times. I've probably seen it like 8 times, and I still don't understand what happens in the movie.
No, I don't know.
I try to piece it together every time I see it. I'm like, no, I don't. I almost have it, but I think it's just there is no rhyme. There's no real rhyme or reason to it.
You know what the spirit of this, to sum up the spirit of this movie, you showed it in your opening clips, but we haven't seen it since. It was in the opening of the show. The drinking the beer, pushing the glasses, and then 2 people doing it, and then 3 people. Obviously, there's no way on earth that was scripted, obviously. Yeah. So that is the spirit of this movie. Obviously, Clive was just sitting there going, oh, it would be hilarious. You do it, then 2 of us do it in sync, then 3 of us. I mean, it's just, there's nothing remotely funny about it. There's no reason to do it, and it's just done. And it's like you could just see the look on Clive's face in the shot, like I got comedy gold. It's kind of like when Jerry Seinfeld, Seinfeld, most brilliant TV show ever. Jerry, one of the things I love about watching Jerry on that show, you can just see on his face, he's so aware of how hilarious the writing is and how funny everything is. He can barely contain it, and you just see it on his face. It's part of the charm of Jerry on that show. Clive's got that in Howling 7. He's sitting there going, yeah. This is all gold, and I wrote this. I came up with it. You just see it on his face. It's beautiful.
Oh man, especially this scene right here where she thinks she has him. She has the gun on Clive, and then her cop comes in out of nowhere. Ha ha! We knew it was you all along. Like it was. This is some Scooby-Doo level shit. But before we cut to credits in another song, the werewolf gets taken out. But let's go ahead and play the money shot. All of you, oh, there you go. There's the end credits for another song.
Right after the
but here's the money shot, guys. I'm glad you guys stopped here to hang out because we're gonna play the money shot right here. It's only a couple of seconds, but you'll never forget it. Here we go.
Best CGI of all time.
You got to give it. I'm not worthy.
I mean Jeff and I always talk about there's a certain magic to mid 90s, early to mid 90s bad CGI. Like that's got its own level of bad, and that is just, boy. I mean, can you find worse digital graphics in a movie of any kind? I mean, it's just the worst.
Oh my god!
That's supposed to be like the big payoff. You've been waiting the whole movie for like a real werewolf to show up in a scene.
Clive was like, "Hey, John Landis, hold my beer, okay? Because I'm going to show you. You think we saw a transformation in American Werewolf? No." I'm going to show you a transformation.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's just you can't. It's the perfect time to end it on that note, man. Like you got to end it with that last shot.
Yeah, you have.
So man. So we got to give again. This is just for fun. This is not a official versus, but just for fun, we'll pick which we think is our. Well, first before we do that. What did the audience pick as the worst film out of the two? Not good, bad, not the best. We're looking for the worst. What is the overall worst movie of the two? The audience picked Manos. Yeah, they picked Manos to be the worst out of the two there. So don't let that deter your decision. Darren, which one is worse? Manos, they both movies have their charm. You like both movies for what they are. You like the positives. There's things you like about both. But we got to choose just for fun. Which do you think is the overall worst of both films?
So not worst, best. Worst.
Worst. Yeah.
Ooh. Boy, that's
so
really.
You get to see. Which one would you watch the most? You pick the other one.
Okay. Well then I would vote Manos to be the worst.
Okay. Out of the two. All right.
Yeah, I would vote Manos to be the worst. And it really is kind of tricky because it's like Manos, like I said, is inept in every single possible way a film can be inept, except there is a story and an ending, and it's somewhat cohesive.
Right.
But the ineptitude is so extreme that I think, yeah, it's like, whoa, it's, yeah, you know, it feels like you're on drugs. Howling feels like you're watching 8 movies at once. There's no plot. And I do find that like if there were 8 movies made, there's a good amount of those that I think are hilarious, because I think Jeff summed it up. It's the trying to be funny. It's because when it tries to be funny, it's so not funny. It just circles back to funny. So I think, yeah, I guess I would have to go. Manos is actually the worst.
Okay. All right, Jeff.
Yeah. So no interesting disagreements there. I think Manos is the worst. I would just add, I think part of it for me is because here's one thing that I do appreciate about Manos. Yes, the story. It has much more of a cohesive story. I love the ending. But also it does succeed in being what it's trying to be to an extent. Yeah. Way more than Howling 7. However you cut up Howling 7 as a comedy or horror, it actually succeeds. But there's 2 factors that really push it over for me for Howling 7 as being a better film. And one, it's just downright more entertaining. Okay. I think but 2 is also, look, I love Torgo. He might be my favorite character out of all of these things going. Between the 2 films, but I think there are more MVPs in the Howling 7. There is probably like a dozen characters I have like a special affection for in the Howling 7.
Right.
And I think that really goes a long way in terms of like rewatchability. I love Brock, the guy who looks like he had a Kemper.
Brock's the big guy, right? He's great. He's the worst actor. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's all, I'm more worried about small cocks. Just great lines though. He makes like 2 dick jokes. I love it. He's the urinal, and he goes, hey, Clive, these urinals are pretty small. He's like, no, he goes, man, these urinals are too small for me. And he goes, hey, Clive, come over here. Is it too small? And then like Clive comes over and takes a piss. He's all, hey, come on, is it too small? He goes, cocktail weenie, man, or something like it's like the worst. Makes no fucking sense. Like, why are we talking about his pecker?
Hey, still got dirt in the chili again, man. You forgot to talk about that. It's dirt in the chili. Yeah. Pappy got dirt in the chili again. You forgot about that.
Jokes, just so you know.
Oh my goodness. All right. So no, that's great. I'm just too nostalgic for Manos. And remember, I just watched this, so I had I was in a lot of pain. But I still enjoyed definitely parts of Howling. I feel Samurai Guy with multiple watches, especially if I watch it with my wife and some friends. I feel my love for Howling will grow.
It will.
But as of right now, I can't portray the Torganator. So I'm gonna go with Howling being worse than Manos. So just for fun, we'll combine the rating here, the poll, and so fuck it, it's a tie. It's a tie. It evens out. Fuck it. There's no losers. We all win. Woohoo!
I'm happy. I'm happy.
Well, it's and what's funny, it is funny the parallels. They really are 2 dead films that were resurrected by classic shows, and both, for different reasons and in different ways, it is ineptitude on every level. So it does share that in common.
And they are desert films. They're both desert films.
They're desert films.
Yeah.
It's a new genre.
Yeah. Do you guys recommend this for everybody's watching right now? Do you guys recommend, if they're bad movie connoisseurs, do they have to put it on their list?
Yeah.
Both of these films.
Connoisseurs, yes.
You have to.
But yeah, you have
to. And I do think it is important to note, you are kind of torturing yourself if you're alone. That is a good distinction here, because I watched Manos alone, and it was a little torturous at a certain point.
Yeah.
And Howling, again, if I saw that with if I saw Manos with Jeff, I'm sure I probably would have laughed even more. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah. But both films are trash. Both films are failures. However,
Pure garbage.
They're fun failures. You can enjoy both of them for what they are. Definitely. There you go. Shit, this is we gonna cue the greatest theme song of all time now. Right, got it, baby. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe, all of you that are watching right now. And thank you for hanging out. And don't forget to follow in the description box below. That's right, the Gear Brothers. And keep an eye out for the Retaliators coming out soon. And I'll see all you badasses next time.
Samurai, if we remake Manos, you're Torgo.